Hello students, we are going to study block 3 sociology unit 13 basic concepts, social control and change. Social control is a fundamental concept in sociology that shapes individual behavior in accordance with societal norms. It encompasses everything from how we eat and respect our elders to obeying traffic laws and national, regulations. Now, traffic rules, as we have to follow. It is good for our, safety. Accidents, otherwise accidents will, take place, and then we have to pay heavy fines. And if we argue with the policeman, they will take the vehicle. The primary aim of social control is to facilitate, collective social life, which is only achievable when individual interests are occasionally sacrificed for the greater good. Meaning of social control refers to the methods employed by society to exert influence over individuals' behavior, encouraging conformity to established norms. This conformity is vital for maintaining social order, which in turn fosters solidarity and stability among community members. Social control mechanisms become an integral part of culture, passed down from generation to generation, and help prevent chaos and confusion within societal functions. Types of social control. Social control manifests in diverse ways, shaped by the social context and goals. In simpler societies, traditional beliefs and customs may exert sufficient control, while in modern urban societies, formal mechanisms like laws, education, and media often dominate. Thus, social control can be categorized into two major types based on means employed: formal control and informal control. Formal control is exercised by institutionalized organizations or associations characterized by formal authority, such as governments that create laws and regulations. This form of control is typical of modern urban societies where interactions tend to be impersonal. Formal control is essential for ensuring conformity among members of a complex society. Recognized institutions like the judiciary and legal systems serve as formal mechanisms for social control. The state is typically the highest agent of social control, encompassing various subsidiary institutions, including police and military forces, to enforce compliance. This type of social control is exercised by known and deliberate agencies of social control, such as law, punishment, army, constitution, etc. Man is forced to accept these forms of social control. Generally, these forms are exercised by secondary groups. Next is informal control. Informal control operates through unwritten rules and is characterized by informal agents such as folkways, customs, public opinion, and traditions. These mechanisms evolve organically over time and become integral to day life. Although informal controls do not entail explicit punishment for violations. They can be more effective than formal controls, especially in simpler rural societies where community bonds are stronger. These agencies of social control have grown according to the needs of the society. Folkways, mores, customs, social norms, etc. fall under this category of social control. Generally, primary institutions exercise this type of social control. For maintaining the social control, certain agencies are involved over a time period to exercise control over its members of society. Society uses certain law, education, physical coercion, and courts besides folkways, religion, traditional customs, mores, etc. There are different agencies which formed for the social control in a society. In primary groups such as families, informal controls often hinge on personal relationships with internationalized values influencing behavior through feelings of shame, honor, and social approval. Agencies of social control for maintaining the social control, certain agencies are evolved over a time period to exercise control over its members of society. Society uses certain law, education, physical coercion, and courts besides folkways, religion, traditional customs, modes, etc. There are different agencies which are formed for maintaining the social control in a society. Society relies on various agencies to maintain social control, each developed over time for its effectiveness. The methods of control employed are contingent on society's organized complexity. First is control by law. Law serve as the most powerful tool of social control in modern urban societies. Defined in various ways, laws emerge from political organizations and social doctrines. J.S. Royce characterized laws as a form of social rule emanating from political agencies. Law is a powerful method of control. The state runs its administration through the government. It enforces law within its territory with the help of the police, the army, the prison, and the court. It enacts laws to regulate the lives of the people. The deviants or the violators of social rules are punished as per law. The state carries out certain function by means of, law. E.A. Ross says that law is the most specialized and highly furnished engine of social control employed by society. It is law which prevents the people from indulging in antisocial activities. The lawbreakers are punished by the law of state. Formal laws are deliberately crafted by recognized authorities to ensure clarity and equity in treatment. The rise of Western civilization has led to similar formal legal structures across many societies. Next is control by, education. The education institutions, schools are powerful agencies of social control, and these institutions are committed to the molding of, citizens. Formal education in modern societies communicates ideas and values which play a larger part in regulating behavior. Education teaches to conform to the norms of the society. Education provides a conscious teaching program that assists society in specializing children so that they will absorb its values, beliefs, and norms. Education is a significant mechanism of social control, facilitating the transmission of values and norms of younger generations. Informal education occurs through socializing agents, particularly within families, while formal education delivered through dedicated institutions plays a central role in shaping ideologies. Emil Durkheim viewed education as essential for socializing the younger generation, thereby helping society pass down its heritage. Now, next is control by public, you see, opinion. Opinion of the people is the most important method of social control in a democratic setup. Every man tries to escape from the criticism and condemnation by the society. He therefore tries to act according to public opinion and public sentiments. In a democratic setup, public opinion is more effective and important than any other agency. Public opinion represents the collective ideas and sentiments expressed by society regarding specific issues. It plays a crucial role in social control, especially in democratic societies where it is gathered through modern channels like the press, radio, and television. Next is control by propaganda. Propaganda is the deliberate effort to control the behavior and relationships of social groups through the use of methods which affect the feelings and attitudes of individuals who makes up the group. Radio, television, press, and literature not only influence the ideas of the people but also bring about the changes in the way of life and way of thinking. Propaganda influences attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs. Governments and powerful entities often utilize propaganda to encourage conformity to social goals, sometimes replacing older belief systems with new ideologies. The effectiveness of propaganda lies in persuading individuals that societal expectations align with their personal interests. Next is control by coercion. It is ancient as society itself. It is essential for social progress. Even these days, some societies resort to it against the deviants or those who disobey social norms. Every state has its own armed forces or police force. It is an effective weapon to prevent people from indulging in antisocial activities. It also makes people obey social order. The state carries out its functions by means of law, which is ultimately backed by physical force. As an important agency of social control, the state exercises its force over its people through various means such as government law, administration, the armed forces, the police, and the like. Coercion involves the use of physical force to regulate individual or group behavior. Although the state is the primary legitimate user of coercive measures, instances of force against peaceful demonstrations or protests can raise ethical concerns regarding its application. Next is control by customs. An informal means of social control is called, you see, customs, which is exercised mostly unconsciously. It starts from childhood in our families, or we call it primary groups in informal manner. Customs function as, you see, informal means of social control. often learned unconsciously from childhood. These traditions ensure collective life and hold more sway in traditional or rural societies. Next is control by religion. Yes, you see, this is very important. You see, religion serves as an important agency of social control. It is religion which supports the folk ways and modes of a society by playing supernatural sanctions behind them. It adopts negative as well as positive means to regulate the behavior of individuals in society. You see, religion serves as a robust instrument of social control, providing a framework for moral conduct based on faith in higher powers. McIlver and Page define religion as a relationship between humans and divine forces, establishing a religious code that regulates behavior. This power is significant as it intertwines social norms with religious beliefs, impacting various aspects of life. Next is control by morality. When folkways act as regulators of behavior, then they become mores or morals. Morals are considered to be essential for group welfare. The positive morals, you see, prescribed behavior patterns, while the negative mores or taboos prescribe or prohibit, you see, behavior patterns. Morality closely intersects with religion, delineating good and evil through a set of principles. It varies across societies with different cultures, instilling their own moral codes in individuals. In Western contexts, values like honesty and fairness are emphasized, while Indian society may prioritize familiar respect and adherence to rules. This internalization of morality significantly influences individuals' behavior and societal control. Next is, you see, meaning of social change. Then there are, you see, then we have social change is the way human interactions and relationships transform cultural and social institutions over time, having a profound impact of society. Sociologists define social change as changes in human interactions and relationships that transform cultural and social institutions. Social change broadly is defined as the significant alteration or modification of any social organization and or social structure and functions of a society and its various manifestations. Significant changes in various patterns of social relationships are, you see, social processes, social pattern, action and interaction, the rules of relationships and, you see, conduct, values, symbols and cultural products. All these aspects are incorporated in the definition of social change. Variations in both material and non-material aspects of culture with time also referred as the part of social change concept. Social change can also be defined in, you see, various ways with no single universally, you see, accepted definition. Social change involves significant alterations or modifications in social organizations, structures and functions within a society alongside their various manifestations. This definition encompasses changes in social relationships, patterns, norms, values, symbols, and cultural products. Social change also refers to variations over time in both material and non-material aspects of culture, resulting from endogenous forces and exogenous forces impacting society. Understanding social change is crucial for analyzing the dynamic nature over time. Next is approaches to understanding social change. Social change and transformation can be understood through several key approaches, including evolutionary theories, cyclical theories, structural functional, and conflict theories. Now, evolutionary theories of change, despite the wide variety in the possible directions change may take, various generations have been set forth because the lot of mankind generally has improved over the long term. By far the most numerous classes of theories of the direction of change comprise various cumulative or evolutionary trends. Though varying in many ways, these theories share an important conclusion that the course of man's history is marked upward trend through time. Classical evolutionary theories comprise various interrelated ideas emphasizing that social change progresses in a consistent direction across societies, often moving from simple to more complex forms. These theories suggest a sequence of developmental stages that societies undergo, culminating in an advanced state. In essence, evolutionary change is seen as progress and growth. Now, types of evolutionary theories. Classical evolutionary theories developed primarily in the 19th century by anthropologists and sociologists. Classical theories propose a linear progression of societies, drawing parallels to the evolution of life forms. New evolutionary theories emerging in the 20th century, new evolutionary theories were introduced by scholars such as V. Gordon Childe, Julian Stewart, and Leslie White. They focused on empirical evidence and systematic analysis, distinguishing themselves from classical theorists Marshall D. Salins and Elman Service later synthesized various evolutionary theories, proposing that evolution occurs simultaneously in both biological and cultural realms, leading to new forms emerging from old ones. Next is, cyclical theories. Cyclical change is a variation on unilinear theory which was developed by Oswald Spengler and Arnold J. Toynbee. They argued that societies and civilizations change according to cycles of rise, decline, and fall, just as individual persons are born, mature, grow old, and die. According to German thinker Spengler, every society has a predetermined life cycle: birth, growth, maturity, and decline. Society, after passing through all these stages of life cycle, returns to the original stage, and thus the cycle begins again. A society can grow and survive if it can constructively respond to the challenges. Cyclical theory of change, or sometimes called rise and fair theory, presumes that social phenomena of whatever sort recur again and again exactly as they were before in a cyclical fashion. Cyclical theories thus focus on the repetitive nature of social change, suggesting that societies go through a series of stages that eventually return to their origins. Unlike a evolutionary theory, cyclical theorists do not see change as a linear progression towards perfection. Structural function and conflict theories. Structural function theories. Functionalism, as the new approach of study of society, developed mainly as a reaction to evolution. In the early years of 20th century, critics of evolutionism advocated that there was no use to know the first appearance of any item of culture and social behavior. They called it as a fruitless quest for origin. One of the most significant assumptions of functionalists is that society is comprised of functionality, interdependent parts, or the system as a whole. These theorists believed that the society, like human body, is a balanced system of institutions, each of which serves a function in maintaining society. When events outside or inside the society disrupts the equilibrium, social institution makes adjustments to restore stability. This fundamental assumption became the main basis of the critics of functionalism to charge that if the system is in equilibrium with its various parts contributing towards order and stability, it is difficult to see how it changes. Critics argued that functionalists have no adequate explanation of change. They cannot account for change in that there appears to be no mechanism which will disturb existing functional relationships. So, structural functionalists view society as a balanced system of interrelated institutions, each fulfilling a specific role in maintaining order. They see change as a constant but require no explanation, considering it a natural disruption of societal equilibrium. Societies tend to accept useful changes while rejecting those perceived or dysfunctional. Now, next is conflict theories. In contrast, conflict theorists argue that social change occurs political and other institutions. The size of population affects each of us quite personally. Whether we are born into a growing or a shrinking population has a bearing on our education, the age at a job, the taxes we pay, and many other factors. So non-inequalities disproportionately affecting marginalized groups, human induced ecological changes such as overpopulation, deforestation, and the construction of large dams also create profound social and ecological challenges. Next is technological factors. The technological factors also play important role in causing social change. Factors are influences derived from the customs, traditions, perceptions, and beliefs of an individual's culture and can be a key determinant in whether or not a person even agrees to seek care and use the devices. To increase the usability of a design, a device should fit seamlessly into social norms by not resembling anything with a negative social connotation, not disrupting gender roles, and not causing, social movements are, critical agents of social change. They can be categorized in two types: radical liberal movements aimed at creating new social structures, conservative reactionary movements focused on preserving traditional forms. The success of these movements interplay between mobility and society. It has underlined that social forces play the major role in determining mobility patterns and the way people, mold their identities and form values. The modern government that rule through the bureaucracy have further impersonalized the human relations. The most striking change in modern times is the change in economic organization. Industry has been taken away from the household and new type of economic organizations has been set up, such as factories, stores, banks, corporations, etc. So the effects of social change on human society are a central concern for sociologists who focus on group dynamics rather than individual experiences. Perspectives on social change vary among sociologists depending on their theoretical orientations. Perspectives on social change, alienation in industrial society. Some sociologists like Karl Marx argue that the shift from agrarian to industrial societies, agriculture and industry, leads to alienation where individuals become disconnected from their labor and each other due to the capitalist system. Human relationships. Other sociologists such as Ferdinand Tonis and Max Weber view the impact of industrial society differently. Tonis posits that industrialization leads to isolation, while Weber believes it fosters rationality, and practi- practicality in human, interactions. Our country is also agriculture, based. Earlier, our agriculture, it used to depend on rain. Now, of course, there is a lot of development. We are having other many sources of irrigation. Durkheim's, perspective. Emile Durkheim suggests that complex industrial societies, through their division of labor, can promote interdependence and societal integration. However, he also warns of potential anomy, disintegration of social, bonds, disintegration of traditional structures. Sociologists recognize that industrialization has contributed to the breakdown of traditional family and community structures, resulting in increased, diverse rates and the rise of individualism. Environmental and technological concerns. The rapid advancement of technology has led to significant environmental changes, including pollution and resource conflicts. The demand for energy has sparked tensions between communities and nations. Globalization and interconnectedness, despite the challenges posed by social change, globalization has fostered a sense of interconnectedness, giving rise to concept of the global village. The dual nature of change, creating both challenges and opportunities, underscores the unpredictability of the future in an ever evolving social landscape. So, we will just give a quick revision. Social control, which implies the social intercourse is regulated in accordance with established and recognized standards, is comprehensive, omnipotent, and effective to stimulate order, discipline, and mutuality, and to discourage, and if need be, to punish the deviance. Society is a collective of groups and individuals. It exists for the welfare and advancement of the whole. The mutuality on which it depends is possible to sustain by adjustment of varied and contradictory interest. The structure pattern continues to exist because of its inbuilt mechanism and sanction system. Social control, generally speaking, social control is nothing but control of the society over individuals. In order to maintain the organization and the order of the society, man has to be kept under some sort of control. This control is necessary in order to have desired behavior from the individual and enable him to develop social qualities. Society, in order to exist and progress, has to exercise a certain control over its members, since any marked deviation from the established ways is considered a threat to its welfare. Such control has been termed by sociologists as social control. Social control is the term sociologists apply to those mechanisms by which any society maintains a normative social system. It refers to all the ways and means by which society enforces conformity to its norms. The individual internalizes social norms and these become part of his personality. In the process of socialization, of growing child learns the values of his own groups as well as of the larger society and the ways of doing and thinking that are deemed to be right and proper. You see. But every social group, makes errors, great or small. In the socializing, the young says, Lapierre, even at best, the internalization is so the social norms can scarcely have completed that a person's own desires exactly coincide with the social expectations of his group. Hence, there are some, deviations from good norms in every group, but any deviation beyond a certain degree of tolerance is met with resistance. There will be a opposition for any kind, for any marked, deviation from the accepted norms is considered a threat to the welfare of the group. Hence, sanctions, the rewards or punishments are applied to control the behavior of individuals and to bring non-conformists into line. All these efforts by the group are called social control, which is concerned with the failures in socialization. Social control as says Lapierre, is thus a corrective for inadequate socialization. According to, Rose, the individual has deep-rooted sentiments that help him to cooperate with other fellow members to work for social welfare. These sentiments are, sympathy, sociability, and a sense of justice. But these sentiments by themselves are not enough to suppress the self-seeking impulses of the individual. Society has to make use of its mechanism to accomplish the necessary order and discipline. This mechanism is called social control. As Rose defines, social control refers to the system of devices whereby society brings its members into conformity with the accepted standard of behavior. Ogburn and Nimkov have said that the social control refers to the patterns of pressure which society exerts to maintain order and establish, rules. As by Gillen, social control is the system of, measures, suggestions, persuasion, restraint, and coercion by whatever means, including physical force, by which society brings into conformity to the approved pattern of behavior a subgroup, or by which a group molds into conformity its members. Then, according to McKeever, social control is the way in which, entire social order coerces and maintains itself, how it operates as a whole, as a changing, equilibrium. Then we discussed about, agencies of social control. Agencies are, first is controlled by law. Of course, if law is not there, it is very difficult, Then law is an agency of social control, is a much later development than custom, folkways, or, folk mores. It is more recent and more liberal than religious precepts. Law may take the shape of unwritten conventions or codified commands made by a recognized authority, and in either case there must be well-defined machinery for enforcing the provisions. The basis of law is understood in sociology is the relation between humans' behavior and disorder. Then we studied, control by education. Education is an agent of social control, covers both the liberal and the, utilitarian types, for both together present life itself to the student. Then next we studied, control by, public opinion. Public opinion is very powerful in democratic, age. It not only controls the behavior of people, but also, controls the government. People these days are more concerned with the opinion held by the public. Then next we studied, control by, propaganda. Propaganda is an organized or systematic attempt made by a person or a group to influence public opinion and attitudes in any sphere. Then we studied control by coercion. Coercion, that is the use of physical force, is one of the forms of social control. Coercion refers to the use of physical force to stop or control a work or an action. Whenever people are refrained from doing a particular work, or whenever some limits are put deliberately on the range of their choice through the use of force or through the threat of its consequences, they may be said to be under coercion. Next, we studied, control by, custom. It is an informal means of social control. We learn customs by childhood in our families, or we call it in primary groups and in an informal manner. Customs represent a kind of informal social control. The socially accredited ways of acting are the customs of society. Many of our daily activities are regulated by customs. Our ways of dressing, speaking, eating, working, worshipping, training, the young, celebrating festivals, etc., are all controlled by customs. How we celebrate Diwali. They are self-accepted rules of social life. Individuals can hardly escape their, hold. All normal people prefer to live according to the customs, for they save much of their energy and time. They save us from the objections and ridicule of the society. Customs give a guidance for people in every activity. So, globalization and interconnectedness, despite the challenges posed by social change, globalization has fostered a sense of interconnectedness, giving rise to the concept of the global village. The dual nature of change, creating both challenges and opportunities, underscores the predictability of the future in an ever evolving social landscape. So, students, we are closing the session. Thank you very much.